We are the last bastion in which to develop a new way to counter this polarization virus.
まさに今我々は分岐点に差し掛かっている究極の問いで、民主制はなぜ重要なのか、民主制を廃れさせてはいけない理由があるとすれば何なのか。
I believe that more voice doesn't lead to chaos, it leads to better choice. And more choice does not lead to chaos, it leads to better voice. Thank you.
台湾の初代デジタル担当大臣オードリー・タンさんが立憲民主党の会合に参加し、小川淳也幹事長らとデジタル民主主義をテーマに意見を交わしました。タンさんはコロナ禍でマスク不足を解消するアプリを開発したことで広く知られるほか、デジタル技術を民主化と社会変革のために活用し続け、世界的な評価を受けています。会合では、投票権を持たない未成年も政治に参加できる台湾の制度を紹介するなど、デジタル民主主義の課題や AI が民主主義をどう変えるのか、重要な展望を話してくれました。
それでは皆様こんにちは。まずはオードリー・タンさん、ようこそ日本へ、そして立憲民主党へ心から拍手で歓迎したいと思います。ようこそタンさん。私はタンさんの大ファンでして、今日ご出席の皆様もそうだと思います。これだけ、台湾のオードリー・タン、いやむしろ世界のオードリー・タン、本当に新しい時代の羅針盤、進路として今日有意義なお話をいただけるんではないかと思います。ではまずタンさんから最近の先ほどご紹介もありました多元性、プルラリティという考え方、最新の研究状況について少しブリーフをいただくところから始めたいと思います。タンさん、よろしくお願いします。
I'm really honored to share with you some of the experiences that we have in Taiwan. As many of you know, starting in 2016, I joined the cabinet of Taiwan as the minister in charge of digital participation. In 2014, we peacefully occupied our parliament for 3 weeks, and we very quickly found the social media at the time, even though it's very good at generating enragement or engagement, the same thing, it is not very good at generating consensus or what to do together. So protesting against something, very easy. Demonstration, doing something new, very difficult. And the core reason was that although on social media everybody is a broadcaster, people's attention is diverted only to the extreme parts that gains virality. However, the uncommon ground, the unlikely middle ground that is actually connecting those polarized different sides was not given the voice in this kind of broadcasting network. So we sought to design our own social media. We call it pro-social media. So even though the trust level from the citizen to the president of Taiwan in 2014 was just 9%, we actually deployed this kind of pro-social media, and starting 2015, Colin, who is here, invented the Polis algorithm that we deployed to discover the uncommon ground. We successfully resolved more than 100 different social issues using this kind of bridging systems and pro-social media. So by 2020, the trust level approval rate goes to over 70%. So in a short span of 6 years, we rebuilt the social fabric of trust using this idea of pro-social media. And the system is quite well known in Japan, I believe, because of the success we used to deploy not just mask visualization, contact tracing, vaccine registration, all this co-created infrastructure with the people made Taiwan one of the best countries when it comes to countering the coronavirus. But today, we're facing a different sort of virus. It's more of a backlash against democratization project itself. It is the virus of ideology, of polarization, of extremism, and so on. To counter this kind of virus, we cannot do it domestically in Taiwan only. I think the virus of polarization, even though it's in a very advanced state in other Western democracies, is not even in community spread here in Japan. So in a sense, we are the last bastion in which to develop a new way to counter this polarization virus. And if we can successfully deploy this method here, we can shape the conversation around democracy so that people do not need to make the hard choice, trade-off between freedom of expression, assembly on one side, and pro-sociality and the societal understanding on the other side. Just as in COVID, we rejected both the government surveillance and the rampant chaos of virus transmission. We carved out a privacy-preserving way to do the virus management. So here we need to discover a new way so that we do not fall either into domination or chaos. That's my initial remark. Thank you.
タンさん、ありがとうございました。日本社会に随分期待を寄せていただいているということを心から歓迎し、また重く受け止めたいと思います。一方、日本社会にも、いわゆる対立、分断、そういう傾向は少なからず見え始めていまして、今や分岐点にいるという、そういう認識です。2、3、ちょっと私の方からぜひお聞きしたいことを聞いてみたいと思います。まずご存知の方も多いと思うんですが、V 台湾、例えば Uber の運営に関して4000人の市民が参加して、議論をして取り扱いを決めたという経験をお持ちです。それから Join プラットフォーム、5000人の賛同者がいれば、その政策が前に進めるか、あるいは政府として、応答義務が市民に対して発生するというシステム。それから最近、ラディカルトランスパランシー、過激な透明性。すべての政府会議は録音し、そして官僚とのメールも全面公開すると。急激な、過激な透明性。本当に世界の最先端の取り組みを台湾で行われているわけですが、これには成果、それから世界にもたらした価値もある一方、多分課題もあるんじゃないかという気がしていて、まずその点、むしろ課題でどういうことが浮かび上がったか、それをちょっとお聞きしてみたいと思います。
And I think one of the main things we learned from opening up the platform, so not just voters, citizens can set the agenda, but also people under 18, as well as people who have residency in Taiwan, but not citizenship. For example, Glenn Weil, my co-author, through the Gold Card, is a resident of Taiwan, but he cannot vote. But he is very welcome to help us set a societal agenda. So opening up the range of people, demos in a democracy, one very quick benefit we discover is that people under 18 are actually the most active participants on such platforms, which makes sense because they do not have other ways to do like political campaigning and so on. I found out in Japan, it's actually illegal for them to go to the original campaigning way, but they can set an agenda on issues if or not on people. So some of the most impactful petitions, either about environmental or human rights and so on and so forth, are started by people under 18. And then we hire them as reverse mentors, advisors to our cabinet. When I was 33, I was a reverse mentor, but then I become minister in 35. Reverse mentors are younger than 35, so I become too old. So I need my own young reverse mentor. And this has really benefited our society. So we overcome the main challenge of most proponents of direct democracy. Direct democracy, like referendum, overrides the decisions of the representatives. But deliberative democracy, as we practice the agenda-setting power, only helps to discover the issues, the agenda, and define the uncommon ground that people agree on, the common values. That's all we do. The development and the delivery of policy is still with the MPs, with the representatives. That is how we overcome the main challenge that has plagued most direct democracy initiatives in the past decade. Hope that answered the question.
我々も若い人たちに学ばなきゃなという局面は日常的に増えている年代にはなっています。すごくお聞きしたかったことで、 つまり今、このテクノロジーの進展は過去に例のないスピードとターゲットをもたらしているわけですが、これはいわゆるイーロン・マスクなどに代表されるテックリバタリアンというある種の集権構造に向かうのか、あるいは中国に代表されるそのテクノクラート、官僚性を前提にした、こちらも集権的な意味合いを持っているわけですが、このテクノロジーはそちらに向かうことももしかしたら可能とするかもしれません。一方、譚さんが主張されているプルラリティ、多元性、このテクノロジーを用いて果たしてその多様な方向に、多様性から活力やコラボを生み出すような社会のインフラ足りうるのか、まさに今我々は分岐点に差し掛かっているという認識です。で、その前提でちょっとお聞きしたいんですが、AI の技術はこれからクラウドと脳みそが直結されるなんていう可能性も議論される時代になりました。果たしてこの AI のテクノロジーはどこまで進むのか、そして今何合目にいらっしゃると、エンジニアでもある立場から、そのことをちょっとお聞きしてみたいです。
It's clear that AI is going very far, but the issue is which direction it's going. As you have remarked, many people in the Silicon Valley believe in what's called superintelligence, which means a takeoff, like a vertical rocket of an AI building an even larger AI, and with less need for human input. And this AI builds an even larger AI with even less human input until such a day it doesn't need any human input anymore, and then just become a super intelligence, leaving everyone behind. If we call this vertical path technology singularity, then we call another path the horizontal path plurality. The horizontal path doesn't care about the takeoff, but we care about how diffused, how decentralized, how democratic is this technology being used. I was in Sushi Tech on a panel with David Ha of Sakana AI, and the Sakana vision is like AI is just a fish in a pond that swims with other fish that coexist and organically evolve with other life forms, so that they have a very small model anyone can run on their phone. So instead of the supercomputing like the old mainframe, everybody have to submit to this very large cluster. No, everybody with our laptop, with our phones can enjoy like personal supercomputing and steer AI toward the direction the society want to go. Instead of aligning society to superintelligence, plurality aligns the AI into the collective intelligence.
このテクノロジーの進展は、本当に一元性に向かうか多元性に向かうか、すごく分岐点にあり、その意味では民主性を育むのか、民主性を廃れさせるのかという意味でも分岐点にあるという認識で私はおります。で、それで私どもは結論から言うと民主性を育み、民主性を守り、民主性を尊びたいと思ってるわけですが、その時に究極の問いで、民主性はなぜ重要なのか、民主性を廃れさせてはいけない理由があるとすれば何なのか、例えばより経済成長がどうかとか、より安全保障政策がどうか、それはむしろ一元化されたテクノロジーの方が効率的で的確なんじゃないかという問いが一方に立ったということを想定したときに、民主制の守るべき究極の価値、バリューは一体どこにあるとお考えなのか、そこをちょっと最後にお聞きしてみたいと思います。
We often compare the internet technologies like an information superhighway. It allows very efficient moving of information from place to place, from people to people through ICT, the informational as well as communicational technology. But a highway that goes to the wrong direction without the off-ramp or the on-ramp is disaster, because on the highway you cannot get down anymore. And so we have seen many such disasters. For example, the social media. When people are trapped into social media, even if they want to go on the off-ramp and migrate into something better, there's really no way to do it. if you switch, for example, from TikTok to Blue Sky, you cannot take your content, your personal connection, anything with you. As a result, not many people make the switch because of the trap that the superhighway was just pointing into one direction. And that means the society cannot self-correct as much as before. Fortunately, in the US state of Utah, they just passed an act that says starting next year, anyone can move from one social media to another social network, and the old one need to forward all the following, all the content, everything. So it still works. Just like you switch to a new telecom, but your number does not have to change. It goes with you because it's your number. This Digital Choice Act, to me, furthers democracy because better choice generates better voice, and more better voice generates better choice. We see autocracies. The first thing they do is they remove freedom of expression. They only allow one voice to go broadcasting to millions of people. But they do not practice broad listening. They don't want to listen from millions of people or indeed to one another. So to your question of why democracy, it is, I believe, that more voice doesn't lead to chaos. It leads to better choice. And more choice does not lead to chaos. It leads to better voice. Thank you.
タンさんありがとうございます。これから本当にその一元性ではなく多元性、そして独裁性ではなく民主性、我々その陣営の旗振り役として、ぜひいろいろ連携しながらこれからも取り組んでいきたいと思います。ですからなんかテクノロジーがすごく急激に進展しているので、それを裏打ちする、その背景になる思想とか哲学が合わせて求められているという局面なのかもしれないなということも感じながらお聞きしておりました。